I think this is working. Oh my god, is that me? It's delayed by a lot. Let me just okay, I get it. This is working. Oh my god, I gotta turn this down. What the fuck? Goodbye noise. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna post this to Facebook. Because I can. Give me a couple seconds, guys. This is sloppy, and I'm sorry. None of that stuff matters. Let's just accept those friend requests. I'm gonna type in live stream. Sorry, you guys can't see this. If anybody's ever watching, I don't even know. I can't, for Christ's sake. Let's go and post that. That is awesome. Share, cool. Now I'm gonna go do this to my page. Sorry, it's taking so long. I'm gonna go to my own page. Awesome. I don't know if I like the title of this video, Giant Astro Man. It's like gastros. Every time I see it, I think of gastro. And one more. Let's go to, what's it called? No, you know it. No small creators. This is a shit show. I apologize. All how should I put this? All while editing a photo I made today. That's this day. I don't want that today. Okay, the way that my mic is set up, it's on a Joby stand, and it's like right in the way of my keyboard. It's super irritating. I don't know how to fix this to get it to. I need better stuff. Paste. Cool. Awesome. That's going up. Posting that. What is happening here? I hope that that's working because I posted about it. Oh, it totally looks like it's working. I don't know how this works. This is so confusing. This is so sloppy. All right, I don't know what that is. I'm going to oh, I see what's happening here. Okay, I'm dumb. I fucked up. That's all right. Amazing. Amazing. Okay. Here we go. I'll fix this later. Sorry for the lack of noise. All right. It's not too complicated, this edit, but I'm going to be doing it in a program called Affinity Photo. You can see it's kind of like Photoshop, but cheaper. And by cheaper, I don't mean ghetto. I mean it doesn't cost an arm and a leg to use the software. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump into it and try to make something look cool. I already made the photo once, but I feel like I should just try to make it again. And better this time. And there's a couple special tools that I really like in the... Why is this not doing its thing? I hope this is working. I'm gonna check one more time. Anyway, there is it's a cool program, basically, is what I'm trying to say, and I've made a couple things in it, and I'm currently using a free trial, but I'm considering buying it. And it's just awesome. I really like the way that it works. It's a little bit weird, and I'm still kind of clunky with all the controls, and I'm not exactly sure how everything works yet. But it's super similar to Photoshop, so it's not really that difficult to use in that respect. And I find that some of the tools are actually like even better than Photoshop's, and it's less clunky in some ways. So yeah, I would just try it out. I mean, you got a 10-day free trial, which is awesome. I think this is working, so I'm going to close out of it and stop watching it because it's weird. I enjoy using it. I think it's cool. I think it's a little bit harder to use. Like, and by that I mean like I don't know what I'm doing, so it's kind of fun to try and figure it out. Anyway, I started with this photo that I got from Unsplash. I just looked up foggy woods, and I needed I wanted like a field to put somebody in, and then like a sky to put something bigger in. And astronauts have been a theme lately. And I'm not sure exactly where that desire has come from, but I enjoy putting them in photos lately. But first, I kind of want to crop this, and I had this. I don't want the custom ratio. I want original ratio, and I'm just going to bring it in a little bit so the height, if you look up here, the height of the trees is very similar in the way that they frame this area in the middle. I want that to kind of look the same. But I also want enough ground space. That looks fine. And then there is a couple different pieces to this. There's the giant astronaut, which the moving stuff in this is a little bit weird. Like, it's not like what you think it would be. Even when you select the layer over here, it kind of still moves the whole artboard. You have to like actually use the move tool, which is something that's weird. and foreign to me because I'm super lazy when it comes to photoshopping that type of stuff. I'm just gonna leave that there for a second while I go look for this other photo. Pictures. 2019 May, was it? It was not in May. It was April. Now, crapola. Which one was it? I think it was this one. Sorry, I have to look for the right photo. Maybe I'll just use this one this time. I know you guys can't see anything, but that doesn't matter. I'm talking to myself. 8833 is the number I'm looking for. Oh wait, actually I'm dumb. I already put it in there. Let's go to temp projects. Nope, I'm even dumber because I didn't do that. Sorry, I'm unorganized. You guys could see my folder layout. It's disgusting. First, I'm going to put in a raw file, and the raw file will look kind of garbage when I first do it, but then I can fix it to kind of match. That'll load in a second. Come on. Come on. You can do it. There we go. It's a massive picture, so it's like, don't do this to me. One thing I like, oh, that's not, okay. Original ratio, this is cool. So Affinity is a little bit weird in the way that it handles raw files. It's not really like Lightroom, but they have all these different workspaces that they call personas up here on the top. So you've got like a liquify persona, which is, you know, like the liquify tool. You have the develop persona, which is like kind of like Adobe Raw, Camera Raw. Tone mapping, I don't get it. And export, I guess that's just to export certain parts of your image and not the whole thing. I don't know why you would want to do that. I don't understand it. I wouldn't use it. But I'm going to have this layer selected, and it's like an image layer, so it's not going to let me develop it. See, please select an RGB layer before entering a develop. So what all I have to do is basically just rasterize this first, which converts it to pixels instead of an image. So now it's like I can do the main difference is if I undo that in an image, I can move around and reshape and resize the image, and Affinity Photo treats it as a smart object if you understand the Photoshop equivalent. But if you don't, it's not a big deal. But when you rasterize it, it basically turns it into a pixel image. And now if I move it or stretch it or bend it, then it will act in a destructive way. And if, you know, I squeeze it down and then I squeeze it back up, it'll be all stretched out and goofy. So I don't want to do that because now it's a pixel thing. So I'm going to go up into develop now, and I kind of want to go to basic, bring the exposure up a little bit just to get me properly exposed. Bring the black point somewhere. Is it 0? I feel like it should be lower. Just looking at the back of my head there. Oh man. And for the white point or the brightness, hold on. I'm not used to it on such a big screen. Whoa, you can pull these out? I didn't know that. That's neat. That'll save space. I don't know what this is. I don't know why I need this. I have history, navigation. I don't ever use history. Snapshots are dumb. Info. I don't know what 32-bit is. So that's gone. And look at all this space I have. That's great. Brightness. No. What I do want to go to is the shadows and highlights because I want to bring the highlights down because they're just a little bit much. And I want to kind of dull me out a little bit because if you look, I can't switch back now, can I? I have to go back to the other persona. But I'm not going to do that. Contrast, I might up it a little tiny amount. Clarity, I like the clarity because it looks pretty. Saturation and vibrance, I don't really want to play with this too much. But I know that the other one was kind of desaturated and a little bit vibrant. Just the way that it looked. Shadows, just maybe bring details back into it's a pretty flat. I want to get like a flat looking image. for me to work with, and I can just mess with the way that I look in the other photo afterwards. Lens, yeah, you can see it's all weird here. You have like lens corrections, which I don't want. I don't. Who cares? This chromatic aberration reduction. Yeah, I would get rid of that if I cared, and I would just put it back in later. There's the lens vignette, which doesn't matter because it's not in the center of my photos. Then there's the post-crop vignette. Everyone's kind of familiar with that if you know Lightroom. Details, all this garbage. I don't really need it. It was pretty bright day. I just underexposed a little bit, but because it's a raw file, it can handle that. As a curve thing here. It doesn't really matter. Overlays, I haven't really figured out what this is. Doesn't really matter. This is kind of like, I'm happy with the way this looks. I might even blue it up a little bit and green it. Those are not the correct terms, but this is going to make it easier to match to the woods. I'm going to develop it, and this might take a minute. This is not one of Affinity Photo's strong points, especially since I'm streaming. I'm just checking to make sure that the stream works. Yeah, you see how long it's taking? This is something that's a little bit frustrating, and it might really fuck up your workflow if you are not careful. And by not careful, I mean do some really, really heavy edits. It's okay, like for the occasional photo like this, I'm gonna be messing with it a little bit. And by that, I mean cutting myself out. There we go. Hey, it's done. I'm distracted by Facebook. My bad. Yeah, so now that that's done, I need to cut myself out. And I'm not even going to do that yet because I want to focus on this guy. Let's see where I am. Can I, if I treat this as an image, there you go. I want to cut him out. And the way that I'm going to do that is just by stuff video to maintain smooth visual experience buffering. What does that mean? What is going on? Oh, I think my upload speeds are just shite. Yeah, it's like bouncing between 33 and 35 kilobytes a second. I mean, by that I mean 33 and 3500. I don't know how to fix that. I think it's just because my computer's not great. Or my internet. I don't know. We'll fix that. I just have to get better at internet, I guess, if I'm gonna keep doing these live streams. One of the things that's most confusing is like in Photoshop, you alt click to zoom in and out, and this just scrolls. It doesn't really do anything. So it's like control scroll to zoom in and out, and that's just makes more sense to me. Also, when you're doing this, like you really have to pay attention to what's selected, because this program is very nitpicky when it comes to selections. So you have to make sure that the layer is selected before you start just grabbing at it. Also, there's not really a way to resize brushes and stuff like just really quickly, which is kind of frustrating, and I'm not a big fan of the way that they do it. Unless I'm messing something up, or I guess you could use the bracket keys, but that means to reach all the way across the keyboard to just do something quick as like control slide type of thing that Photoshop does. Otherwise, like there's a couple differences in the way that the program functions, but it's really is similar, and it's like so much cheaper, and that's totally worth it to somebody like me, because I'm like, I don't want to spend $1 million on Photoshop, especially because it's so damn, like, the way that Adobe does things is frustrating. I don't like the way that they do it. Well, I don't blame them, because I think they make more money that way, obviously. Just trying to get this outline really good. See that? I'm like trying to alt scroll to zoom in. Not happening. But most of it's all the same. This is going to give me a really pixelated kind of selection, and I'm not really going to be happy about it. I'm going to have to go over. Last time I did this, I was on my touch screen, and I kind of brushed it all off that way, and it worked really, really well. And it was super easy. But now I don't have that because I'm using an alternative screen. And just my mouse and keyboard, so it's going to be slightly different. But maybe I can do it better this time. Who knows? I'm gonna do my best. Yeah, you see how it's just so pixelated? It's just a bad photo. And by a bad photo, I mean great photo. Whoever took this from Unsplash, it's a great photo. It's just not super high res, which is not good for people like me who just steal free photos from the internet and use them to make art. I know, I shouldn't complain. It's free. Like, how else am I going to get a picture of an astronaut like this? Look at that garbage selection. It'll get better, less pixelated as we come by and kind of brush it all out and thin it all out, because the pixels aren't actually that big. They just look that big because I had to like scale the image up, if you remember, if you look back. Look at that. That should probably not be there. I should get music. I couldn't get my headphones to work with the OBS, like the screen recording software. Also, I don't want to listen to my voice when I'm talking because that is unfucking bearable. I'm not going to do that. So here's this chunk that we missed. This probably could be easier. I feel like this is how I did it last time, so I'm going to do it this way. How do we do this? It's like the little snakeskin part. If any of you know what snakeskin looks like, kind of looks like snakeskin. It's not, it's a strap. Oh no, my internet's so bad and I apologize. Oh Jesus, it got so low. Who else is uploading stuff in my apartment? What is happening? I should check something else. Maybe like trying to update something. Hey, look at that. Almost missed these parts. Oh, wow. This isn't super important because I'm just going to come back with the brush and, do this over again. But I just want to get it as much as possible now because afterwards it really is a pain in the ass to come back over with the brush. Get rid of all this. It's not critical. Oh no, you see what that just did? Yeah, you gotta kind of like with Photoshop, I find the difference with Photoshop, it's just a slightly better optimized, and it's like obviously because it's, a million years old. But this one, when you click, like in Photoshop, I just click and drag and fling my mouse around, and it seems to just know what I want to do. See that? I don't know why I did that. I don't know why it's like this thing popped up over here. So I'm going to invert that selection and literally just mask it out. Oh, shit. That's not what I want to do. Maybe I'll not invert that selection and mask it out. Yep, that one worked. I'm dumb. I don't know how to edit photo. Oh. Move the whole layer. I kind of want to make him taller. He looks weird. There we go. That looks better. Also, I want to deselect. That's annoying. I just want to make sure that his legs here don't go above the tree line. If you look, like, if you look at the trees here behind his legs, I just want to make sure that they're kind of on the tree line, and he's kind of in the middle. He looks about right. That looks good. I'm going to keep it. Yeah, it's where you're going. Oh, yeah. And just to get the trees in front of him, I'm going to get rid of him for a moment. And we're going to just do the same thing. Select this. Now, this is a little bit more of a process. I'm just going to use a magic wand, though, and click the sky. And that's going to, it's called a flood select, which is just the magic wand tool. But it's going to do a really crappy job along the trees and whatnot. But there is the refined selection tool here, which is super good. So that's what we use. It is a pain in the ass to use though, and it takes a little bit to figure out what to do. As far as matte, foreground, background, and feather, I haven't really figured out what they do. I know that I think foreground gets rid of the red, making whatever you click the foreground, and then background gets rid of, well, puts in red, making whatever you don't want. Yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. But there's a whole bunch of different previews that you can have, and I'll show you like the matte white, which is going to show you basically all of what I have selected, and then the sky, but that looks like Garbaggio. So it's just the sky that I have selected with whatever's not selected behind it. Black matte, basically the same thing, just with black. Black and white. White is selected, black is not, because it's creating a mask. We all know white is... how's it go? White is what you can see, black is what you can't see, I guess. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Transparent. Yeah, it's just, it'll turn the unselected parts transparent. I don't want that though. Overlay's the nicest for me. So the only thing you really have to do is go in here, range this up a little bit to like 100-ish. Doesn't really matter. And then matte is gonna basically detect where the light parts are and where the dark parts are. It's gonna create those little tiny gaps for me, and this is gonna take forever. Look, now it's gonna load again, and this took me a while today to do. So, yeah, no, it's not even fully done there. I'm just gonna keep refining it. I guess the smaller selections I do, the faster it goes. See how much garbage that is? It's annoying. I think what it does, and just from playing around with it, is wherever you click first, it's kind of like, yeah, it did a little bit better job, but it also brought that little spot right there back, which is stupid and annoying. But it's just this long process of doing things like that, getting rid of it. There's these spots here. I'm going to use a little bit of a different method. I'm going to turn them into a background, although I should have done this. Realistically, I'm trying to turn it into the foreground, but because I selected the sky and not these, then they're making them a background. And I'll just invert the selection when I'm done. And whatever. Oh, Bob's your uncle. Who cares? Do people still say that? Oh my God, we've been live streaming for 28 minutes. And we're only this far. We could be so much further. Oh, that actually did pretty good. Look at that. Cool. Oh, shit. It just did a whole without me wanting to. It's super annoying. Okay, then I guess we're gonna go to matte here and just try to fix the tree line up a little bit. Yeah, Facebook is dead, man. Not like in a I hate Facebook way. I mean, like, there's nobody on it right now. Yeah, I'm gonna keep cleaning up the tree line. Oh, there's some up here, a little bit here, maybe in there. These don't really matter. I kind of mostly just want these to look better. Look at that garbage. It's not doing what I want it to do. I might have to just change it to a background. Yeah, it's not gonna do what I want it to do. But this is actually really easy. Refine selection tool. I find it runs, even though it takes forever to load, it runs way more smoothly than Photoshop's, for me, at least on my hardware. And I find that to be super helpful. I don't even need to do this. I don't know what I'm doing. It's going to take forever now. The only part is that, yeah, it takes forever to load, but after that, it gets pretty easy. Like, it's super intuitive. That's what I'm trying to say. Look, I just fucked all that up. I'm just going to undo that. This is actually really easy. Gotta hear doubles because I played my own stream because I'm nervous it stopped working. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's pretty good. So we're going to click apply, and that just applies the selection. I guess we're going to invert it, and Before we do anything, I want to, excuse me, I want to duplicate that layer because I just want to keep a background layer just in case. Background, and then on this background, what we're going to do is we're going to relabel it tree so I don't get confused, because I will. We're going to go and create down here a mask, and it's just going to create a mask from the selected pixels. So you can see how, like, let's just move this one down to the bottom. And it, oh shit, yeah, that's another thing. Child layers, I don't, it's kind of weird. But as soon as I turn off this one, you can see me behind the selection. See that? If I deselect, it's going to pop up. It's created a really nice tree line, which is kind of cool. That might actually be cool for another photo. That's not what I'm doing today, though. I want to move this back up to the top. Turn this guy back on. Turn this one off. We'll take care of that one last. Maybe. This guy, we have to kind of refine the edges a little bit. I wonder if we can, there's an easier way to do that. Let's look up. What if we just did a Gaussian blur? Oh, also this is really cool. Like the way that they do, you have like live filters, so you have all these things, and it basically treats everything as a smart object already, which is super helpful, especially when you have like these smaller projects. Let's just see what this does. Let's deselect it, and oh no, that's not what I want. What the fuck? Let's get rid of this. The mask is what I want, and if I could put a Gaussian blur on the mask, that might work. That's not at all doing what I want it to do. I don't know how to do this. How can I get this to clip to the mask? Nope. I wonder, can I make them... What if I rasterize this? No, that would be goofy. And what if I took the mask? Okay, so there's the mask. And then what if I just did it to the mask itself? There we go. I think it's doing it. Oh yeah, look at that. It's like making it blurry and nice, but we're gonna have like a weird black edge around it. So can we... I wonder if we have any like... I forgot what the term is called, but it's like when you cut off the like the end, like fuck, what's it called? Roll tools and displace pinch pause, lens distortion perspective. No. I'm gonna Google this. What's it called? When you trim in from the edge. Let's just see. I just Googled affinity, how to shrink selection. Let's see if this will work. I don't think anybody's joined the live stream. I think my output is so bad that I'm not getting like consistent video. Draw more key shape, not just interest. Oh, maybe. Select. I don't know. Can I do it that? What about this one? Select. Why can't I do that? What if I rasterized it and then went to select? That's not what I wanted. Yeah, these child layers are like, I don't know if you could see it, but there's like child layers and there's layering layers. It's like weird, confusing things. And then what if we took the layer, select. Oh, that is exactly what I wanted. Oh my goodness. So what if we go in just by like -1? Didn't do shit. Okay, what if we what no. What if we went in by, I don't know, -3? That might be it. But I'm gonna go in one more. And by that I mean 2 more, -5. Okay, it's kind of a big one. Apply. Now we go to the mask and we go, how do we, oh, you know, I'll just take the brush tool and go over to color, make sure my selected color is black. Oh, shit, that's not what I wanted. I gotta get the right brush. Just get a big hard brush. Color, invert my selection. Click this. They have this weird live brush thing. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest with you. I want my flow to be to 100%, just so I can run over this. Look at this. Look at this. I'm getting rid of a couple pixels along the edge, and what that'll do is allow me to kind of blur the mask a little bit more without getting the black of the space beyond this dude. You'll see what I mean. Okay, so let's deselect. You see that like live? It's like a live brush. Now if I click, that's what happens. It's weird. And it kind of just takes up like a lot of everything. I think it might actually be fine. Like it's already kind of whatever, blurry and smooth. I don't like the shoulder though. So I'm going to come in and just with a brush, I don't know, bring it all the way down to something like that. And oh, that's fucking not at all what I wanted to do. Go to this mask and just get rid of those harsh edges, just like where they're super dark. I don't like that. Let's zoom back out. Yeah, that's all right. Maybe over here there's a harsh edge. It doesn't really matter because I kind of want him to fade into the, you'll see, like he'll fade into the background, into like the clouds. Oh, that was a bad brush. Good enough, who cares? This one looks goofy, look at that. There's like these two stops right there. Like dink, dink, these stairs. Yeah, that looks all right. I guess here's bothering me and here's bothering me. Cool. Now that that's done, we can move that underneath the tree. Not what I wanted. We'll move the whole Astro Man pixel, Astro main pixel layer to underneath the trees. And you can see the trees are kind of, you know, above him. The tree, yeah, you get what I'm saying. Which is fine that it's not perfectly lined up because we're going to get some cloud brushes and just paint away his legs here. And we're going to put a couple curve layers on him so that he looks fine. That's taken care of. One of the things, oh, what is that? One of the things that's, we have to basically match this person here to the color of the trees, which is going to be weird and difficult, but we could do it with a curves layer, and we can put the, if you look, there's like a lot of blues and greens in the shadows, and in the highlights it's there's like a almost yellowish color, and he's already kind of got a yellowish color in the highlights and where it's like the bright areas, so that kind of matches. We can tinker with it, but the shadows are completely dark, so I just want to brighten those up. And it's fine that there's not a lot of detail because I can, you know, whatever, cloud brush it away. One of the ways that this works, though, what's weird about this compared to Photoshop, the Affinity Photo compared to Photoshop, is it doesn't have like clipping masks. It uses child layers. So you could see like there's the Gaussian blur mask, which is clipped to the mask of the actual person here. And we can turn that off and you can see all of the space behind him, which is clipped to the layer. So it's like this weird stepping up, but it's actually, I feel like it can go deeper than, I guess, Photoshop. I guess is this a proper comparison video? It's not. I don't want to do that as a mask, but we can go in here. We can pick a curves. Also, they have an HSL thing here, which is super awesome, and I love this, and I'm going to play with it a lot. And I have presets already made. I haven't figured out how to use them though, so that's unfortunate. But that'll come to a different day. Curves, and you know what I love about this curves is that it's just bigger than Adobe's. I don't know, can we make it even bigger? But anyway, on my screen, it's just 10 times bigger. First, we want to lighten up the shadows so they match about the same brightness as the shadows in the other one. And they're going to look a little bit different because the colors in this layer are different from this one. So I'm going to move. I know that there's green in it, so I just want to pick up the green. And it's already looking better. Look at that. But we also want to bring it back down a little bit and level it out in the midtones. So it doesn't get rid of like the matching highlights. So we want the highlights to line up along this diagonal. Just bring up the greens just a little bit. And oh my God, my boss just texted me. And he's being a turd. Oh, never mind. What the crap? Sorry. But it's still like a little bit too green, and we can see that even though in the like this area of the shadows, there's a lot of green, and then down towards this area, the shadows in the darkest parts, it gets a little bit bluer. So I'm gonna pull up the blue and just add a little bit until it matches, because I'm looking at the darkest parts right here in this crotch, and it maybe a little bit more. And I want to bring the rest of it down. But you see how it messes up the rest of the image because this blue is really wonky? You just have to mess it, bring it back up. And it'll level itself out. It gets really finicky. But I think a little bit more blue in the shadows will be better. I guess something, maybe even a little bit more green. Move this down a little bit. I don't know. Let's play with it. I kind of like that, the way that looks. Get rid of that. And we're just going to put this as a child layer or a clipping mask just to this guy. So it should only affect this one. But I mean this one. I can't say anything. I think that's fine, and we can kind of leave that for now. I'm going to come back and keep playing with that to blend it, or maybe we should just do it now. I'm actually going to do it now. So click that layer, and then I'm going to add a pixel layer, which is just basically a basic Photoshop layer, editable from pixels. And the way I'm going to do this is go up and get, like, again, my super soft brush, put on my brush tool, super soft brush, and change my color. Get rid of that. You can see I marked it in there. Color, change that back to white. And on the white, I'm going to make this a lot bigger. I just kind of want to dab this away. Just dab it away. Too much. Too much might be a better option at this point. I could just lower the opacity. I might not even want to do that though. Especially here, because you can see like the masking isn't perfect. So you have these like weird outlines, like just around the bushes, and you can kind of see it as you zoom out, and it gets really distracting. So I want to basically kind of blend these little tiny highlighted edges into his glove, and that way it looks more real. It's kind of just my thought process. I don't know if that's actually the way you should be doing it, but that's the way I'm going to do it. Yeah, that looks fine. That's actually a really high detailed photo. Look at that. Look how close I can zoom in. This side especially, you can see it because it's really dark, and then it just doesn't match at all. So I'm going to really just make his whole hand disappear. Because otherwise it looks like garbage. Which is fine. And then we can take this, maybe even add a hue to it. We'll put like a tiny orange hue and bring up the saturation. Maybe a little bit, and then just slide it over just a little bit. Now we've got some color in there. I want to turn the flow down a little bit more. Or, you know, we can just do the color picker. Oops. This one's weird. It's a little bit different, the way that the color picker works. I'm not sure I like it. Now I want to make it super big. And again, just kind of dab him out along the edges. This is like, the interface on this program is just weird to me. Oh yeah, I'm doing the color changer now. And it's going to give me issues until I go back to the paintbrush. Because if you click it, you can see if I click B a bunch of times, it'll toggle through all the different tools here. So you got to be careful of which one you go on. Give the program a minute and be patient with it. There's a loud humming coming from somewhere in my house. Yeah, that's right. My flow is so low. I'm like, why isn't this showing up? Just blend a little bit. Little clicks. Okay, that's kind of me putting him in the background. Now I want to do some brushes. Now I have a some cloud and dust brushes that I don't remember where I got them from. Big bummer, because they're awesome. And I literally just like put them all over the place. And they change size, and there's all these variables. And also the brushes, like the brush tool in this program is phenomenal. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. Like they have like sub brushes and crazy stuff like that. Like, yeah, here. Now you can put on like different brushes onto this one. You can get really intense, like single strokes that have like these wild patterns in them. So, but they've got these really awesome dynamics, and it uses the Adobe brushes. So that's what I did. I just transferred my brushes from Photoshop. Oh, look how good that looks. Right there. Look how good that looks. But you can see, like, as my brush tool moves around, you have like an update of what's going to happen. I'm not sure if I like that. It feels like it takes up too much resources, and like it takes forever to load. I kind of want harsher. I know that this brush here is a little bit harsher. Oh, it's gonna be small. Oh, jeez. I kind of want these bigger clouds up here that are just a little bit more intense. Like he's coming through the clouds. It's awesome. It's so cool. And just a small one right there. And right there. And that one's way too small. These big ones could probably be used over here. Maybe these ones are really harsh. Yeah, you see how harsh those are? I could use these on a different level. On a different layer, I mean. And then bring them... Undo that last one, but look at this cloud. Oh, that cloud is just perfect. Perfect. Now I want to take that down a little bit so it's not so bright. Maybe even we can use one of these like live filters and just ever so slightly give it a blur. because it looks like it blends into that a little bit better. I kind of want to do more of these. Yeah, I want to get his arms a little bit more faded. And maybe some softer clouds down here. And then even coming back to this one, going back to like this layer here where I did just as, you know, basically making him disappear. Get a big brush again, make it a lot bigger. Turn, yeah, the flow's good. And just dab. Just a dab. Just dab. Maybe not dab so much. Take this, bring the opacity down a little bit. Maybe even this one. That's what I just did. I didn't even change layers. That's annoying. Change layers. Yeah, I liked it when this one was higher. Maybe I can get another hard brush. This one, if I go back to my dust cloud, get one of these harsh clouds. I don't like that, but I click it and get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Oh. This one's big. What if I did like covering up half his body? That's amazing. All right, cool. So I feel like that's done. We will put these all into a group. Call them clouds. And then I'm going to mess with me now. I'm going to put me into the image. And this is difficult. Similar thing. I have to select myself. If you guys can't tell, this is me. Look at me. I'm pretty face. Again, I'm going to make sure that my layer is selected when I'm selecting parts of the layer, because otherwise it's like, why isn't this working properly? And it's really confusing. So yeah, just be careful of that. Something just moved in my house. Am I alone? Yeah. Refine the selection some more. Yiddy up, up, up. Shrink this down a little bit just so I can get in here, because otherwise it's going to look goofy. Alt to get rid of selection. Look at my phone and my bus card in my phone case. Classic. Yeah, I'm just going to make sure that everything's properly selected. I don't want anything to go to waste. Like this. This is garbage. Garbage. Actually, the selection tool in this works really well. I feel like there's some improvements that need to be made, but just with the AI and how well it is at selecting things. But otherwise, in general, it's actually really good. I enjoy using it. This I'm going to clean up. I don't know what's happening there, but it's annoying. All right, cool. And, oh, Jesus. Again, we're going to create a mask from that selection, which is just going to pop me out. Oops. Collect the whole layer, move it, get, oh, deselect, now move me. Wow. Shrink me down. I think this is a good, no, even smaller. Gonna have to go smaller. Makes the photo seem more grand. That seems about right. Yeah, it seems about right. That looks good. Now I kind of want to match me. You can see like there's these highlights here, but we're going to keep those because it kind of matches the lighting here. If you notice, like on the original photo, it was also kind of a cloudy day. If I get rid of the mask, you can see it's also kind of a cloudy day in this photo. So the light almost matches the rim light, but we're going to fix that up. And the way that they do layer effects is a little bit different, and it's kind of confusing. But I figured out ways to get around it. And there's actually a lot of cool things that you can do that's like, oh, this actually is better than I thought it would be. So I'm texting my boss. He texted me, Adken, shishi. Cool. Speaking different languages. It's confusing and I'm not good at it. I think what I'm going to have to do here, just because I don't like the way my feet are positioned, I don't like this one especially. I'm just going to rasterize this. And what that's going to do is just kind of move the mask and the layer together. But we have these weird parts that are not supposed to be there. So I'm going to grab my eraser, make it a lot bigger. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. Hardness, 100%. And hopefully that took care of it. Let's look at, yeah, I don't know what this is here for. Why is this like this? Where's there pixels that I don't see? Which are super annoying. Oh, okay, that's annoying. I'm not dealing with that. Cool. Now I also have to match this. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over into the liquify persona and kind of do the same thing. I don't know what I meant by that. I'm going to take this way down and just try to make it look like my foot is not turned out that way. And I'm not a... Oh, geez. Oh, my God. Look at that. I wonder if I can get... Yeah. Yes. This... I mean, this doesn't really matter right now because I'm going to be taking out most of this. But I just want to make sure that it looks kind of right because of reasons. Okay, fine. Then we're going to apply that change. Go back here. And I want to put again, another curves layer. We're going to child that curves layer to this one, not clip it. Like in Photoshop, make it a child layer so that it only affects this layer. We open that back up and we can match the shadows. I want to lift them a tiny bit. Tiny bit, not too much. Highlights are fine, don't really care about that. Then I want to go back into the green and the blue. And actually, you know what? I wonder if we could just screw this. Delete, go into the Astro Man, curves adjustment, copy. Is this good enough? Paste it, but paste it as a child layer. No, that's not that great. But I think it's just because the shadows are so far up. If we take the shadows down, it might already be color corrected. No, not really. Shit. It was worth a try. Oh, jeez. Oh, you can't just like drag them off like that? Oh, you can left click to get rid of them. That makes sense. Green. Get rid of that one. Go back to the master. Drag the shadows back down. A little bit up, not too much. Maybe create a little bit of contrast. I like that. Yeah, I want to adjust the greens again. Bring the greens back up. The blues. Maybe there's too sharp, too harsh, I'm trying to say. Maybe also bring the reds up. Oh, wait. I don't like how you click on the curves layer and then it just screws everything up. It's just, they're so finicky and irritating. I kind of like the way that it looks, just tonally matching. Maybe I'll... Yeah. It's all right. It's all right. And then I know that I'm going to want to create a mask for this also. And start to get rid of some of the grass, basically. Go to the brush tool. Go to color. I'm still trying to figure this out. Color. Yeah, just create some sort of grass here, and we could even, yeah, do a couple like these. It's even a little harsh. Maybe if we did the hardness down. Yeah, but it's 1 pixel, so it's gonna look harsh no matter what. Ooh, that's gross. Now I'm using my mouse, so not my pen and pad. By that I mean my touch screen. So it's gonna come out a little bit weird. That's fine. Whatever. I'm just trying to make the illusion that there's blades of grass here. And when you back up, you really, like, it kind of looks like there are. But then I'm also going to take the size up a bit and the flow way down and the hardness way down, and just start getting rid of parts of my foot. I know this is dumb. And why did I do the adjustment if I'm just going to get rid of it? Because. No good reason. Maybe just something like that. I'm trying to get like these up and down movements of grass. See, looks good. Now, I do want to get nice, like a glow from the light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another pixel layer, and then I think it's shift click this, or nope, it's not that. I'm going to control click the icon here. Oh yeah, twice, and it's going to select what I have selected here. And then what I can do is just use the paint bucket. I think that's what they call it here. Fill it up with white or black. I'm going to fill it up with black. Why is it not doing that? Oh, it doesn't matter. And the reason I'm doing that is so that I can come onto this. There's an effects, right? And on the effects, basically there's all these, the same kind of effects that you have on, or layer effects that you have in Photoshop. I'm going to turn the fill opacity all the way down so that black is gone. I just need the shape. I don't need the, I don't need the fill. I want to do an inner shadow. Click on that, mess with this, turn it to screen. I'm just going to just turn the opacity way up. And I want the angle to be directly down, offset, intensity, raise these up until it starts doing something. Oh yeah, it's black, so it's not going to do anything. Turn it to white if you're on screen. Yeah, offset's going to make it come down more. Radius is, I guess, the blurriness of it, which I kind of want a lot. And the intensity, I'm going to turn it down. Maybe the opacity also. I can do that later. I'll do that later. Close. Now, what does this do? I can go into and rasterize this. Preserve layer effects, no. Rasterize. And then come to, I don't know if I should do a mask or erase parts of it. I guess I'll do a mask. Brush. Go make sure that this is pure whites and pure black. And where's my brush at? Turn it up a couple hundred pixels. and get rid of the parts that I don't need. So this is something that I do in Photoshop a lot to get the right glow effects. I don't want it around my hands. Down here doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And there. And what we can do to make this actually look like I'm glowing, again, rasterize this layer and then come down and give it a little bit of a Gaussian blur. Just a few pixels. So that way it looks like the light is also kind of bouncing off. Oh, Lord Almighty. It looks like the light is like bouncing off of me and scattering a little bit, because you can see, like, you see how it's scattering on top and not just on the bottom? It looks more fantasy and cool. Just give it a couple, you know, a pixel or two of blur. And change the opacity of that. Of what I mean by that is of the whole layer. And this one, I actually want the opacity to be full. Having the full effect of the blur. And then being able to turn it off here. And then similar thing, I want to go to this where the trees are, and I want to put on top of the trees another pixel layer. And go to my brush tool, which I already have selected. Go to brushes, get the clouds again. I also like the way that they do brushes over here, because you have the menu to drop that. Like, brushes in Photoshop are so fucking confusing and so difficult to use. I might use these, are a little bit thicker. Also, I want to change this. This is irritating. Dynamics, size jitter. I don't want a size jitter. Rotation, fine. Scatter, okay. Close. Oh, I do not want black. Color, go to white. Actually, let's just pick the color from the sky that we already had. Use that, which is, oh, it's even slightly green. See that up here? Start working our way in on these. I'm gonna maybe pick a different brush. One of these. Also, I don't want this size jitter to be so crazy. Maybe slightly. Close. Also, this layer, I kind of want to bring it down like that. Maybe add another pixel layer above that. All I'm trying to do is create some fog here. And maybe even some smaller ones on a new layer. Just to put some texture into the fog. I'm going to blur this a tiny bit. I don't like that. Yeah. Then I'll take another one of these live blurs, Gaussian blur. It's expensive as far as resources go, but it looks the best. Group these into a fog layer. Cool. Now I kind of want to take another one above this and just crank up the size. Wow, that is already big. Maybe different one. Oh, that's as big as they go? Wow, that's dumb. How can I get this to go bigger? Yeah, that's kind of cool. Like, there's very clearly fog over me. Oh, look at this giant one. It's the one that I'm going for. Yeah, that's great. Okay. Maybe we can take the fog group and turn it down a little bit. Maybe not all the way. We can even open it up and change this one. That's kind of neat. Yeah, I like that. I like the way this one turned out way more than the other one. Sorry, that was probably super loud. Wow, we've been on this for an hour plus. Jeez Louise. That's so long. People. I kind of like this. We're going to do a what's it called? A gradient map. Gradient maps are cool. Do they have presets of these that I can use? Because I don't like having to remake them all the time. It's really annoying. I know I kind of want my shadows to have a... Hello? Oh, I'm dumb. A deeper blue, but I want a teal, but a deeper teal. Something like that. My highlights to have a teal, but a brighter teal. Okay. And then my midtones, I'm going to make them orange. Because I can. Maybe even shrink these down a little bit. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's not so saturated, though. I mean, look at that. Jesus. That's absurd. Already kind of looks dope like that. That looks fucking good. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. I'm so glad I figured that out. That looks amazing. Can I move these in? Just copy it. Oh. Yeah, look at that. Okay, cool. And I think that's actually good. And then go to the gradient map. I wonder if there's any cool color dodge. No. Any cool blending modes is what I'm actually trying to say. English. I know it. Hue, saturation, color, luminosity. Ooh. Ooh. No, it looks goofy. Average, negation, or I don't know, reflective glow. These are all new blending modes I've never heard of. I know that. Maybe soft light. Yeah, soft light looks delicious. Overlay's kind of intense. Soft light looks good. And then I'll just change the opacity. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Look at that. Maybe I'll even take... I don't know. If I had a LUT. Do I have any LUTs? I don't. So let's get rid of that. Again, I'm going to click the top one and Control-Alt-Shift-E will merge all layers, merge all visible layers, just like in Photoshop. Give it a second. And then I want to go to, because this is a pixel layer, and the reason I did that was so I can bring it all up into the develop persona. And from here, they have a really great post-crop vignette tool, which I like a lot. Which works really well. Scale, probably about that big. Bring the hardness just way down. Make it soft. Scale, maybe intensity up a little bit. So that's really good. Yeah, develop that. That's all I really wanted to add. Also, maybe we can do another pixel layer with the gradient tool, which I hear is supposed to be better, but to be honest with you, it's kind of confusing to me. Yeah, there's a lot of live updates, something apparently you can't do in Photoshop. Not that I ever use gradient tools anyway. On the white one, I wanted this to actually be black, and this one to be white. Cool. Now we can take this and go to multiply, but bring this down just to give us a little bit of a darker fade here at the bottom. And from the top, you know what, actually I don't think I want this with the post crop vignette. We're going to create another pixel layer and possibly do the same thing just from the opposite side. Change this to black. Oh, not what I wanted there. And then change this to screen. And what this will do is create kind of brighter at the top, almost as if he's getting taller. We can actually move that, right? And then put a layer mask on it. Take our brushes, these really crazy, take our brush tool, these really crazy cloud brushes, and then color, swap them. And just ever so slightly take out some of those little tiny effects. I wonder if I could make another one here, right? Pick a darker gray. Maybe like a darker gray. Sounds way too big. Yeah, I fucking like that. May I take this down? That just adds texture back into the sky. Fuck, that's delicious. I'm gonna add a little bit of a blur to it. Just so it's not so intense. I wonder if I could take the guy, also add a little bit of a blur to him. I don't like it. I'll just yeah, I'll give him a little bit. Okay. Yeah. Look at that. I'm so happy with the way that turned out. I look so good. That looks so good. This program is awesome. I'm happy about it. I'm going to save it. Oh, I already made a previous one. Looks different. Giant Spaceman 02. Save. Oh, that's taking a minute and a half. Wow, he had 2 viewers at one point. Oh, wow. That's so many. For a first live stream, 2 views is not bad. I'm going to come back over here and export. All these options. It looks goofy, doesn't it? It looks totally different than you would expect. I'm just going to export as JPEG because they upload faster. All these different resources. I was going to use this guy. How funny is that? Save. No. I'm looking for it. I mean, that's a piece of work. That looks yummy. That looks yummy. You know, my favorite part, and this is something I've really had, it's been a pain in the ass for me, is getting good rim light. And I think the rim light on this just looks so good. It just like, it reflects perfectly. How does this work? I don't even know how to use this. It just bounces. You can see it reflect, like bouncing off, you know? I mean, look, it's not close, it's not convincing, but it looks good from out here. And I think that's it. That's a live stream. We've been here for an hour and 20 minutes. It took me to make that. Should I post this on YouTube?